Fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to another Week 1 post-game show here on the Falcoholic Live. I'm, of course, Kevin Knight, joined by Allen Strk, my co-host for these shows. A very familiar feeling to this Week 1 as last year, Allen, where I feel like the defense was better than expected, although not perfect, but again, that's not what we were expecting. Offense out of sorts. And, while there's obviously some good plays and notable things, it's out of sorts and well below expectations. And then we get let down by the special teams at the end, which also feels very familiar to last season. So, tough one, Allen. How are you doing today?
Yeah, just trying to compartmentalize everything. I think just the drastic difference from last year is instead of having an immobile, incapable quarterback, they had a quarterback who struggled at times through the first 3 quarters and then put on a superhero cape and did literally everything possible to win that game. So we're going to talk all about Michael Penix. Kind of reminiscent of the Washington game last year. Struggled with his accuracy a little bit, but then that fourth quarter, there wasn't a moment where he did something wrong. To me, he just did everything perfect, and just that touchdown run, unbelievable. Michael Vick-esque, we should say. But yeah, offense definitely have sorts. If Darnell Mooney was healthy, I think they win that game. But at the end of the day, it's division games are crucial. The Bucs were banged up. I mean, the Bucs had a center playing left tackle, and I didn't see a Falcons edge rusher win one matchup. If you want to have a big criticism of the defense, I thought the pass rush was all that investment. And I know the Bucs have a good O-line, but you expect more there. Like, pressure just can't come through purely blitzes. But I do think there's a lot of encouraging signs from this team on both sides of the ball. But overall, I do think Tampa narrowly deserve this win just because I think they were better in the trenches. Baker made enough throws, and I just thought the Falcons, their execution on short yardage plays were just disastrous.
Yeah, I think Zach Robinson has as much blame here as Younghoe Koo. Just Falcons shouldn't have continued to. It was bad offensive game plan. There's no doubt about it, and it's disappointing after seeing a bunch of really creative stuff in camp, seeing all these things rolled out and all this stuff talked about. We see it on the first drive. And then it feels like the Falcons went into conservative mode after that. Didn't really let Penix start dealing down the field either until late in the game. I mean, it just looked very different than what we saw during training camp. And it alarms me that they got so panicked by the loss of Caleb McGarry that they were like, we have to scrap our deep passing game and just revert to some conservative offense that nobody wants to watch, let's be honest. And it's also not effective. So we're going to get to that, guys. Thanks again to FanDuel for presenting today's episode. And then real quick before we get to our takes, because there's a lot of takes today. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to our sponsor today, ZipRecruiter. Look, guys, it's tough right now in the job market. We all know that. It's tough to find jobs. It's tough to hire the right people for your jobs. You're looking for the right candidates to apply. You got to sort through so many resumes. Everybody's using AI all over the place these days. And it's tough to get in touch with the right people as well. Well, don't worry, because the future of hiring looks much brighter. ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features help you speed up to find the right people for your roles so you save valuable time. Now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. With ZipRecruiter's new advances, you can easily find and connect with qualified candidates in just minutes. Over 320,000 new resumes are added to ZipRecruiter every single month, which means you can reach more potential hires and fill those roles sooner. So what are you waiting for, folks? Use ZipRecruiter and save time hiring. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio right now, you can try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And you can also find the link to that in the show description if you don't want to, if you for some reason couldn't hear it, but because, sometimes I do speak a little fast. So apologies for that. But thanks again to ZipRecruiter for sponsoring today's show. All right. Alan, I feel like before we dive into the nitty gritty, we just have to talk about Younghoe Koo. And it pains me because I know you're a big Koo fan. I have been a big Koo fan. I feel like I have to get off that train now, unfortunately. Where are you on Koo now? Because this was a critical game for him after, soundly sort of defeating Lenny Krieg in training camp. I think this was his big chance to prove to fans and the coaching staff that he's back, like he's got it under control. And unfortunately, it just didn't go that way.
Yeah, because even the second make was troubling. 36 yards, he hits the post, it goes in. So that was like a little bit of a red flag to begin with. But 44 yards in a dome, Koo at his best makes that kick 10 out of 10 times. Like, let's not forget from 2019 to 2023, Koo is pretty much automatic. So I think, yeah, he's on borrowed time. I think already another game or two like this, you have to make a switch. Like they're going to give him that opportunity to revive his career. They're going to see if he can bounce back. But I just think another costly mistake like this, like we know in the NFL, every game matters. Even though week one's, I know it could always be a roller coaster ride. You don't know what to expect from teams, given that these teams don't really play in preseason. But you have the opportunity there, and he was someone that was coming to this year that had a lot of pressure under the roster. So ultimately, I think another game where it's like this, where the team loses a good part because of him, I think you can't keep him around.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall here. Unfortunately, because Koo, they didn't figure this out before the season, that his salary is now fully guaranteed for this season. So there's no money to be saved for moving on from Younghoe Koo, which is crushing because they could have saved like $3.5 million. But I don't think you can trust him. I mean, like you said, like the kick that he made was just as concerning as the one that he missed. I mean, that was a 36-yarder. Like that is a gimme. Like NFL kicking is too good to be playing around with this disaster that we're seeing from Younghoe Koo. I don't know what possessed him to change his stance like 10 years into his NFL career, but that was the biggest mistake of his entire career, and he's going to find himself cut because of it, man. It feels like such a forced error, and it's sad because I think it comes from a deep desire to continue improving, to not settle for great, but sometimes the perfect is the enemy of the great because he's gone too far and he's messed up his ability to kick in the NFL as a result of it. It's sad to me. It's sad.
I wish we had Trayshawn on right now because I think Trayshawn broke it down last year in terms of his positioning. Yeah, like his positioning has changed, like you said, and it's not been effective. And it's bizarre that a player that was legitimately like a top 5 kicker for 4 years or so would do such a thing. And like, who could forget last year in that game against the Bucs on Thursday night? I think he hit like a 53-yard descent to overtime. So he's had these moments where if you expect him to deliver, he's going to do it. Remember, he hit the game winner against the Saints at home last year. So this is really a time for Koo to show that last year was a blip and he's going to be back on his trajectory as one of the true reliable kickers in the league. And he totally botched it. And these losses are consequential, especially in the division. Like, if the Falcons don't beat the Bucs twice last year, they're nowhere near winning the division. Last year, those wins were pivotal. So it's very fall behind because of that. And not to give, even though the Falcons' offense was decimated because Drake London was out, the way Michael Penix was playing, I feel like if they would have got that first drive, he would have just willed his way downfield into scoring a touchdown. That's how good he is. So yeah, I think this is a big wasted opportunity just after everything that Penix did in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Let me get to a couple of these questions, comments. Thank you guys so much for sending those in. Don't want to get behind here. We got Ray Moon with the $2, all caps. I'm not going to yell into the microphone, but just saying all caps so you guys know the emphasis here. Koo has been trash from the 40s, is what Ray Moon says, and I mean, definitely one of those was even from the 30s. That's even less excusable.
He hit a 41-yarder to start the game. Mm-hmm. So he hit one, but like we're grasping at straws at this point. Like, you got to be automatic.
Yeah, you got to be automatic from that range. That's not really an accomplishment today. Yeah. We got Mad Tom K with the $5 saying that sucked, but do want to give a shout out to Penix and Pitts, who were 5 for 46 in 2 drives, stepping up in the fourth to give the team a chance. Yeah, I think Pitts is going to be a lot better this year, Alan. It seems like Penix is like, when the bullets are flying, he goes to Kyle Pitts. And Pitts like responded. Pitts was trucking people. He was stiff arming, like this like timid sort of
first catch. It was behind it, and he still snagged it. That stiff arm. That's what we want to see. Yards after catch. Let's see what Pitts can do. He did look a step faster and look, be that security blanket at times. He had to be a security blanket on that last drive, and he did it. So it doesn't have to be flashy. You just want to see Kyle Pitts 6 to 8 targets a game. More if possible, but just let him. We want to see him part of the game plan. So I think that was the most encouraging thing.
Yeah, and I think it's bizarre because he didn't seem like he was much a part of the game plan until I think Penix was just basically calling the plays, and then it was I'm going to Pitts, I go to Pitts, and Pitts did a hell of a job. So shout out to Kyle Pitts, obviously shout out to Michael Penix. So we're gonna talk about Michael Penix a lot today, folks. This isn't gonna be all doom and gloom because it's week 1. Okay, I'm not jumping off the cliff yet, but definitely some concerning things we're gonna talk about. Yeah. We got Ian McCluskey with the $2. What's up, Ian? Thank you. Says pass protection was actually solid today. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great, but I would say I would give it solid, considering like the Bucs are one of the most aggressive pass rushes in terms of they're gonna send guys, they're gonna make it hell for you, and yeah, I would say that it was solid. I wouldn't go any further than that. But
I go average. I think.
Well, that's what I think.
Push you. Yeah.
Oh, I consider solid average. I guess that is what.
Oh,
that's synonymous for me. So.
Okay.
I guess maybe
I think sounds like good, but
okay, yeah.
Different to your interpretation. I just think that third quarter in particular, and like, look, if Penix doesn't make that miraculous play to get to the 1 yard line on that fourth down conversion, I think there's going to be even more heat on offensive line because Elijah Wilkinson basically falls down on the play.
Yeah.
Brian Hughes will definitely need more help when isolated against Vita Vea. But Jake Matthews had some bad moments. Him and Bergeron were on the same page at times. Even Lindstrom was giving. I thought the entire offensive line played poorly. Like I think to me that's probably the biggest concern coming out of this game is how bad the offensive line was. So, but I do think when the drives that they needed to score on, the offensive line did hold up, all things considered.
Yeah, I think so. We got rare Adnan post game appearance today. Adnan, welcome in. How are you doing?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Not
great. Not great. Yeah.
I know we're talking about the offensive line. Kevin thinks they played solid. I think average. What do you think?
In pass protection, I said solid. If we're talking about run blocking, I'm giving it a big thumbs down.
Yeah, I want to hear anything but solid with the run blocking.
I'd lean a little more toward average.
See, that's what he said. I was like, to me, solid is average, but I guess maybe it's a semantics thing.
I think that's a semantics issue at that point.
Yeah, we'll say average. Just, we all agree they were roughly average in pass protection. Then, if that's what
Wilkinson fall apart in the second half. I don't think.
I mean, look, man. I feel like coming into this game, we'd maybe take average, possibly. Given the struggles with the right tackle. Like I'm not. Obviously, they weren't great. But at the same time, it's like, you didn't lose the game because of them, which it was, you lost the game to the Steelers, in large part because of the offensive line last year. But, yeah, I think they held up fine. I think the defense held up fine for the most part up until they didn't. But, yeah, I feel like, there's a lot bigger there's a lot bigger people at fault than the offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to get to that. We got NC Hammer. What's up, NC? Shout out to the moderator with the $5 here. Says, I'm convinced the Falcons are a government experiment to see how much suffering one fan base can handle before snapping. I think I'm ready for the therapy. Yeah, I mean, I would never discourage anyone from getting therapy. And I would say, hopefully this team doesn't drive you to need therapy. But if it does, please get the help you need. We got Tony C with the $2. Says, any word on London? Not yet. I assume he's dealing with rib pain or shoulder pain. I'm not expecting it to keep him out of games, but it'll be something that they'll have to manage. It's just the way London plays. So we'll see if we do get an update. But yeah.
I will say not having London out there really hurt because Michael Penix threw a dime on that last throw of his.
Yeah, Kadarius Hodge needs to turn around. Yeah, what the hell?
Kadarius Hodge just wasn't looked like it was. It could not have been like more like right there for him. And Kadarius Hodge just sort of like gave up on the play.
Yeah, he didn't even look. Sure. Yeah, I mean, and like Hodge was the hero of the last Bucs game, so it's like we know he can deliver in those moments. It's just didn't even look for the ball.
Issue, personnel-wise, though, and this is a big thing with Zach Robinson still being occupied by this whole playing 11 personnel most of the time and keeping the same person on the field. I thought Casey Washington was fine. There was promise there, but how Kadarius Hodge didn't see the field until Jake London got injured was baffling to me, especially given how bad the blocking was in the run game department. Hodge could have made a difference as a run blocker, and I thought he should have seen some snaps at some point during games. Like for him to just enter the game on the most consequential drive, I could see why it was a bad mistake, but I could see why he wasn't maybe prepared because he just hadn't played. Like he literally came in that drive. I feel like if he would have played 5 or 10 snaps for Casey Washington, maybe he would have been more ready at that moment. So I just think even though Casey Washington showed flashes, I don't get the reasoning by him playing 80%
I
of
think
snaps.
they look at it as like a 1-for-1 thing where Casey Washington is the direct backup to Mooney. and Kadarius Hodge is the direct backup to Drake London. And they're like, okay, we're going to do like, it's not going to be like a traditional depth chart of like, okay, Hodge is ahead of Washington on the depth chart, so we're going to bump him up. It's, all right, Hodge is, it's like wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B. It's like London, Hodge, Mooney, Washington, and they're going it with that sort of philosophy.
It's so rigid, and I feel like you're really limiting yourself by that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like whether it's the right decision or not, that's another conversation. But I think that's completely the reasoning behind us seeing Washington out there for so long, and I think that's why we'll see a Washington out there for the majority of the game next week if Mooney's still out.
Yeah. No, this is a little bit slightly off topic, but just seeing a tweet here from the press conference, Michael Penix at the podium saying, we got to be better in all aspects, not just rushing me as well. Like, what a professional. Like, this dude just went out there and put his body on the line. Like, that was some of the gutsiest, like, run plays that I've seen from a guy who's not known as a runner. Like, put everything out there and still is like, yep, I got to be better. Like,
he's learning from Matt Ryan.
He's it, guys. I hope he just doesn't have to suffer like Matt Ryan suffered through so many years of mediocrity. We gotta do better by Mike Penix. Just what an absolute hero. But
because Matt Ryan, who had all the reason in the world to throw people under the bus, never did either. And he dealt with it for the better part of a decade.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we can switch that up and not make Michael Penix have to apologize for his offensive coordinator absolutely shitting the bed this week. But we got Ray Moon again with the $2. Thank you, Ray. Says Pitts is the key to the offense. Come on, ZR. Zach Robinson, for those that aren't familiar. I mean, he could be, especially without Mooney. Like, where was the deep passing? We're going to get to that. Solaire with the $2. Thank you, Solaire, for this pop of optimism here. Clean house. We suck. Draft takes. Here we come. Yes, thank you, Solaire. Yeah, I knew I could count on Solaire. Solaire just wants draft takes. He's a sick man. He just wants draft takes.
We don't even have draft takes this
year.
We
don't even have a first-round pick. It's going to be some depressing draft takes. Yeah. But I will deliver them all the same. But, not yet. Not yet, Slayer. You still got to wait a little longer.
Nobody's going to cover the second round like the Falcons this year.
Yeah, I'm going to be on those day 2 picks. The Senior Bowl is going to be lit. All right, we got George Costanza.
It's September 7th.
I'm going to all over it. Season's over. Guys, pack it up. Go home. Yeah. No,
They're
don't
on
clip
prime
that.
time next Sunday.
Don't clip that, producer, which is me, so don't worry. It won't be clipped. We got George Costanza. What's up, George? Welcome in. Sorry that couldn't deliver you a win this week, but he says, keep in mind, guys, the Falcons are 1-7 in their past past 8 week 1 games. So you can all calm down. The Falcons will go on to win 16 straight and be the number 1 seed. Super Bowl bound, baby. You're telling me there's a chance. Well, I didn't say that, George. You said that. I think 16-1 would be a little bit aggressive. If not borderline, psychotic at this point. But I appreciate you bringing that energy to this conversation. So thank you. We got
the benefits of playing the 2023 Panthers. Otherwise, it's 0-8.
There you go. We got Brian Anthony here, and we got a surprise Evan appearance too. We're gonna get into that.
Party in the house.
Yeah, full party. We got Brian Anthony 614 with the $5 saying, "I love that we ran the same play out of pistol on both of those 4th and 1s and just changed out the running backs." Facepalm emoji. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first of all, Evan, it's been a minute since we had you on, man. How you doing?
Hey, I was better earlier, but yeah, I don't want to go through what you guys have already probably talked about, but what a frustrating loss. Like, it's good to get football back, but you don't feel this feeling, during the off season. So it's kind of like it returns, but
the familiar feeling of disappointment.
Yeah,
it just sits in
you almost
in the
forget
chest.
it's there.
Yeah. It feels almost like coming home. Yeah, it does. But yeah, we've covered Koo. So if you do want to get in a word about Koo, Evan, this is your chance before we change gears here.
No, I mean,
hold on.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Either.
Okay. Well, Adnan can go next. Yeah.
Evan, you do a show solely on Koo.
We'll save it for Wednesday. Yeah. No, go ahead, Evan.
No, I mean, they've shown in the past, I don't have specific examples, but I think we're all aware of them, where they've kind of shied away from having him kick long field goals. And that's been going back like 2 seasons where it's almost like they babied him. He had, 1 or 2 good seasons where it was like, the marketing was great. Like they were able to just pump, Koo content nonstop. But then it's like, I don't know what happened, but he's like, he hit a wall and just, it seems like he's been on a decline. Um, and then obviously, when you lose an opening week game like this, it's going to stick in everybody's minds because it's, we haven't had anything to really watch or talk about for, the off season. So it's like this really, if this was week, 5 or 6 or something, maybe it's less blowback. And there were other things in this game that kind of led to where the end result was. But, with that being said, it's like they never brought in real competition like in past years. They finally brought in, I think it's Craig or whatever, the guy that he
Yeah.
kicked a long field goal. But I mean, like, that's not legit competition. That's like saying you've got like a veteran quarterback who's struggling. So you bring in like an undrafted rookie who played Canadian football or something. Like, it's not the same. You have to bring in like a legit, and there's a ton of veteran kickers who can make that kick that are available right now that are sitting at home. But they didn't even bring in any to compete at all. I think back to like the Matt Bryant situation. Obviously, Matt Bryant was a lot older, and kind of, obviously like hit, a little bit of a wall. But they got rid of him. They brought in what was his name? Oh shit! What was his name? Yeah,
Yeah,
DeVecchio.
Tavecchio.
And he kind of struggled there for a minute, and he looked good, but at times or whatever like that. But and then they end up going back. They brought in Blair Walsh, and then they end up going back to Matt Bryant. And I'm not saying bring in Matt Bryant at all, but you have to like have competition when you're a kicker. Now, if you have somebody who's like established, like I don't want to say Justin Tucker because he's got all that stuff going on, but like in that situation where you have a kicker that like you can put your life on that they're going to make that kick, that's one thing. But you have to, when you have a struggling kicker like this that they've known about for at least the last 1 or 2 seasons, bring in legit competition. They just refuse to do it. And now I was reading on Twitter before I jumped on here, who wasn't even in the locker room. He left before the media was allowed in just to dodge questions. And it's like, to me, that's chicken shit. I get being frustrated, but like, I mean, your job is to kick field goals. Like, if you can't kick field goals, I don't know what you're here for.
Yeah.
And then he screwed up the and I say this as somebody who can't kick field goals, but he screwed up that kickoff that cost him to the 40, and it's like that is equivalent to the old rules of just kicking the shit out of bounds and not letting it go in the end zone. Like, that used to be like, oh my god, they kicked it out of bounds. Now they're at the 40. This was just like free, great field position for the Buccaneers. That just kind of got swept under the rug. But it does suck how it ended. And obviously, like I said, there's other things that led to where they were, but there were good things. Michael Penix, I mean, he looked great. Diablo, the linebacker, this was his first season with the Falcons, and he was all over the place making plays. So, I mean, there were good things. It's just going to be overshadowed by obviously how it ended.
Yeah, no, totally agree there. Lots of good points. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate your perspective as well. Nice to see you too. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Adnan, I will let you get in a word about Koo if you want. I apologize for not allowing that.
Yeah. Evan, you said that you can't make kicks. I'm not saying like that any of us could be in that position making it, but I will say this: none of us are getting paid $24 million. To not do our jobs the way that Younghoe Koo, who's coincidentally the second highest paid kicker in the entire NFL right now, hasn't been able to do his job since week 4 of last year. He's second behind only Harrison Butker. He's been a top 5 cap hit last year, top 5 cap hit this year among all of the kickers. Post week 4 last season, Younghoe Koo's field goal percentage is the lowest that we've seen in the NFL since 2005. He missed the most number of kicks in the NFL last year. And I know that the coaching staff tried to sweep a lot of that under the rug by trying to claim some injury toward the end of the season. He wasn't hurt for 10, 12 weeks like before then. If he was, then that's a different conversation that we have to have about the coaching staff as well, which we should have a conversation about the coaching staff too when it comes to this. But Younghoe Koo last year was the worst kicker in the NFL statistically. And like Evan said, they bring in no real competition. Like Lenny Krieg is a guy for the future. I don't think anyone expected Lenny Krieg to really sort of take that job, take that bull by the horns as someone who's never kicked, at anything near an NFL level. And, Lenny Krieg, hopefully he will be a good soldier for this team in the future. But honestly, this team should have gone out and found a real veteran player to compete with Younghoe Koo. And honestly, if it was up to me, they should have just cut him outright last season. Like they should have saved that money and they should have gone another direction, because I don't care what he did in 2022. I don't care what he did in 2021 when he was first here in 2019. He had those onside kicks that we all remember against the Saints. He was very accurate. But at the end of the day, even if he's a league average kicker, it sort of doesn't even make sense because he's getting paid like an elite kicker. And he wasn't league average. He was an absolute disaster last year after week 5. And I think it is sort of a weakness of this coaching staff, and Raheem Morris in particular, that he sticks with guys too long. He stuck with Kirk Cousins way too long last year. He's now stuck with Younghoe Koo. He hired his very good friend Jimmy Lake, and he stuck with him all of last season. And sure, he fired Jimmy Lake, and we gave him some credit for that, but it's like, why? Like, he shouldn't have been here in the first place. And it cost you last season. It's now put you firmly behind the 8 ball this season. I mean, I'm just completely over Younghoe Koo. I was completely over Younghoe Koo last year, and I had people coming to me talking about, oh, we need to, give him a chance. We need to stick with him because of what he did in the past. Who cares about what he did in the past? Bill Belichick and the Patriots dynasty was so potent and so good because they always moved on from a guy a year too early versus a year too late. It's such a weak mentality by a franchise to be like, oh, well, you've given us a lot, so we're going to stick with you. You've given us a lot, but he's also gotten paid by the Falcons like $20 million. It's not like, he was just giving them charity and now you want to stick with him. It's egregious. The decision-making is egregious. And Raheem Morris talking about, oh yeah, he has an emotional bank account or whatever the fuck that means. It's just sort of it's just hilarious at this point. And yeah, I mean, it's cost you. I'm not saying that that's the only thing that cost you, but obviously it's the biggest story right now. And he also almost missed that 36-yarder in. Yeah. And I mean, that in of itself, just sort of shows you that he wasn't really confident. He wasn't really on it today. And I mean, it's just sort of a shame because I don't know, it kind of hurts even more given the heroics that Michael Penix gave you on those last 2 drives. That second to last drive was something out of a movie. It was inches on that 4th down and 1 where they're going to a review, and then it's he scores a touchdown by a singular inch. It breaks the plane on 4th and goal. And it's if this was a cinematic movie, I'd be rolling my eyes saying, all right, this is way too dramatic. This is stupid. But it's it wasn't. It was heroic. And I mean, his last drive, Michael Penix has the it factor, man. Michael Penix deserves way better. And for him to go downfield and to, do all of that for you, just for the guy who has one job on this team to not be able to execute at his job. And then, like Evan said, for him to run away from the media and to not even take questions about it. It's egregious. It's criminal. And it's awful. This guy should not be this team's kicker moving forward. I'm sorry.
I totally agree. And I was saying this, just a minute ago, but it's Michael Penix is out here giving this press conference just feels so much like Matt Ryan. He's yeah, we all got to play better. We shouldn't be making Michael Penix do this. This is now the 3rd time that he's had to do this in his career where he's busted his ass and done literally everything he possibly could to get this team over the finish line. He just gets let down by everyone else around him. Kadero Hodge doesn't look for the touchdown. How can you not be looking for the touchdown on 4th and goal? What the hell are you doing? This is the game on the line. What are we doing here? Younghoe Koo missing a layup field goal. This is not the 2000s or the 1990s where hitting a 40-yard field goal is something to celebrate. No, this is embarrassing. He should have missed 2 short kicks today. Any other kicker would be cut for that immediately. But now his contract's fully guaranteed for the whole year because he's on the roster week 1. So there's no cap relief from Koo. They're just going to have to cut bait. Maybe it's not this week, but it's coming, guys. And then, like, the defense plays great. Like, the defense is not great. Like, this is a different thing. The defense is not great. I think this is, like, maybe a league average defense, and I stand by that. But, like, they went to bat today. They did everything they could. They were overmatched by the Bucs' skill position talent, and the pass rush is clearly not there. These rookies are not ready. Jalen Walker's playing kick coverage, guys. He's playing kick coverage. That's how much the team thinks about Jalen Walker right now. Not good. Not good. They can't get pressure. They're blitzing. The coverage is great. And shout out to Baker Mayfield. He threw some absolute laser beams. And like he got incredibly fortunate to not throw multiple interceptions because the Falcons had their hands on so many. But guess what, guys? Missed picks don't count for anything. So if you can't get your hands on it, it don't matter.
Yeah, I feel for Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
Like he wanted them well, but he anticipated too early, and then it was like off direction, and he couldn't grab it. But overall, I thought Xavier Watts, besides Devontae Apple, was probably the biggest highlight defensively. But I think Terrell probably should have had a pick. I think it was on like a bootleg where I think it was in his hands, but he was diving. But let's not forget, though, Terrell and Bates, I don't know what happened, but they left Kate Odd wide open. That easily should have been a 55-yard touchdown. So
little bit of luck payback there.
Yeah, so it's like it kind of goes both ways. I thought the linebackers in the secondary played great. Defensive line, they had some. I thought they were good against the run. Like I thought Zach Harris and Yamada had their moments. Brandon Dorless too, but I mean that pass rush. I couldn't name you a single defensive lineman that did anything pass rushing wise. Yeah.
The pass rush is definitely like they need these rookies to get ready soon because they just don't have a whole lot there. They still played it well. Like even with everything going on, not really getting much edge pass rush, they were getting pressure on Mayfield. Mayfield's one of the hardest quarterbacks in the NFL to sack. It just is what it is. Like he's wily as hell. Like we just know that he's really smart about throwing the ball away. Like he's hard to get on the ground. I think they got pressure, but they couldn't get him down except for once, right? So, but it's
it
like
was schemed up. That was
the
problem.
They had to,
You could rely on four-man rushes, and then when they had it, like to me, this is one of the biggest plays of the game. Kade Ellis on second down, unblocked pressure.
Yep,
he comes off the edge, and Kade Ellis finishes that play 10 out of 10 times. Like last year, he was dynamite, and he just whiffs. And I know Baker, he's elusive in a way, but just like he's not Jane Daniels, he's not Jalen Hurts, etc. Like you gotta make that play, and then. If you want to go on a rant, like I understand ranting about Younghoe Koo, but Rukaroro.
Oh yeah, that's coming. That's coming.
I'm sorry, that penalty is about as careless, as mindless as you can get. Like you know how fickle the refs are going to be when it comes to quarterbacks. You cannot just press a quarterback down 3 seconds after he releases the ball. To me, that's up there with the most egregious thing we saw on the field today.
Baker did sell it, but credit to him for selling it because that's his job to sell it. Like he knows he's the quarterback, he knows he's protected, and it's like you just have to be smarter. You just have to be a lot smarter, especially when it comes to that situational awareness.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was a big fan of Rukaroro in training camp, but he was getting caved in against the run today. Like he was struggling. And then you get out there in a critical situation, you make that kind of mental mistake. I mean, it reminds me of who was it the other day? Omarion Hampton. Like, luckily it didn't cost the Chargers the game, but like, just rookie mistake. And Aurora's not a rookie anymore either. Like, but like, you can't have those mental errors in these critical situations. And like, the Falcons need him to show up and be good. And like, not only is he not playing well, but like. Bro, you can't just put your hands on the quarterback because you're frustrated because you can't get to him. Like, you got to be thinking out there. This isn't college. This isn't anything else. Like, this is the NFL. This is a thinking man's game. You can't just be out there bulldozing with no thought. Like, that cost him the game. I will go as far to say that Rook roughing probably cost him the game. Like, more than any other play. Obviously, Koo missed the kick, but that just sends it to overtime. Who knows what happens after that? If Rook doesn't rough Baker Mayfield there, because they forced him out of bounds. It was a good play.
Yeah.
Like,
put him in field goal range for sure.
Yeah. That just put them in range with tons of time. Like, the Bucs would have had to come up with another 15, 20 yards on that play. Instead, they were like, well, now we can just take shots at the end zone for as many plays as we want. And, I mean, credit to the Bucs. Like, that offense is really damn good, which is why, like, everyone's going to talk about the defense failing. The defense didn't fail. Ruka Rororo failed, and Caden Ellis failed to secure a sack, but they held the Bucs to 260 yards. Baker Mayfield threw for 159 yards. That would have been one of his worst games last year, straight up.
So the defense came out and they forced 2 3-and-outs immediately. Like the Falcons could not have gotten off to a better start. They had that Bijan Robinson great play where he, put the Superman cape on and he went all the way, scored the touchdown. And credit to Bijan, he said himself before that like he's trying to work on, finishing some of those long plays because that really is the only thing probably separating him from a player like a Saquon Barkley, those like very long touchdowns. And I mean, he did it. But then after that, the defense, 2 straight 3-and-outs, and the offense couldn't get anything going from there. And the second you gave the Bucs the ball back for a third time down 7 or up 7-0, you can't do that against the Bucs. You can't do that against this offense. It's way too high powered. It's not going to be stuck in neutral the entire game. You got something unexpected from your defense. I think we were all expecting a shootout in this game, but the defense held them. And for you to not add to that lead at all, it was discouraging. And right there is like, all right, this is going to be a long afternoon and it's going to come down to the wire because, I mean, imagine if the offense was able to just tack on another touchdown, like in the middle of that, or like, a couple more field goals or whatever. And then, you have a double-digit lead, and all of a sudden now the Bucs are down multiple scores, and they have to maybe change up their strategy, change up what they want to do. But the offense, the first 3 quarters was very disappointing. If you take away that Bijan play, where it was pretty much all Bijan Robinson. I mean, he caught like a 4-yard flat route and made the defender miss, went all the way. Like that was just all Bijan Robinson. The offense just looked straight disjointed up until that last drive, a couple drives before the end of the game. It was disappointing. Zach Robinson's play calling was disappointing. Honestly, it didn't look good. Like the offense sort of sold for the most part in this game. They got very lucky that the Bucs kicker, Chase McLaughlin, also missed a field goal and he also missed an extra point. So that sort of kept you in this game, but you can't rely on luck in that way. And the Falcons, they had the opportunities. And they sort of just let it slip through their hands. And here we are, week 1, lost to a division rival. And you're firmly behind the 8 ball because I know what I'm looking ahead right now, but that week 15 game in Tampa Bay, road game against the team that's won the division 4 straight years, that's going to be a very difficult sort of setting to play in. And if you lose that game, then the Bucs have, another game on you and the tiebreaker no matter what. If this is a 2-horse race in the division, like this game isn't your typical just, a week 1 loss. This is a way more important week 1 game than, for example, last year. Like, all right, you lose to the Steelers, AFC opponent. It sucks, but it sort of is what it is. This is a different story entirely.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It puts you absolutely on the back foot now. Now you're in danger of getting swept by the Bucs. Now you have to face the Vikings, the Panthers, who, Adnan, as you said, looked god-awful. Oh my God. Worse than I ever thought they would look.
I do not trust Bryce Young at all. Yeah. Like that whole offseason bullshit of Bryce Young is back. Like that was just, he was back because he was. If he faces a Jimmy Lake defense every week, I'll believe you that Bryce Young is good. But I'm not a Bryce Young believer at all.
Yeah, so that one hopefully we can count on. But we got Vikings, we got Commanders, we got Bills, we got 49ers. This is this is a brutal stretch. They have to steal some wins in here. Like if you win this Bucs game and you beat the Panthers, you can afford to scuffle a little bit here, and it would be understandable to do so. You lose this Bucs game, now you gotta steal some wins. You can't go into your bye with just a win against the Panthers, right? So you got to find a way to beat the Vikings, who we haven't seen yet. Who the hell knows what JJ McCarthy is going to look like. Maybe the Commanders are vulnerable. Like that's a common regression pick team this year. Maybe by the time we get to that game, we're feeling like, okay, we could beat that team. But the Bills, like, come on, guys. Like, the 49ers, like, seriously, like, those are going to be tough outs. There's no way around that. So, like, you're behind the 8 ball in the NFC. You're behind the 8 ball in the playoff race. Like, I wanted to mention this. The Falcons playoff odds going into this game, I think, were plus 132 per FanDuel. Now, per FanDuel, plus 184. One game dropped them 50 points. Yeah. Like, yeah. And, that's not a huge odds drop, guys, if you know about odds. Like, plus 50 is not significant, really. But, like, it is for, like, a 1 game out of 16 sample size, because now the Bucs can sweep Atlanta. Like, it's possible. Will they do it? Probably not. The Falcons typically split with the Bucs, and maybe this team will be more, up to speed late in the season. Who the hell knows? But it's a bad way to start the season. There's no doubt about that. All right, let me get to some of these questions, comments we got here. Thank you guys so much for donating. Appreciate you. We got Cortez Battle, nice name, with the $2, says special teams thumbs down. Do you think we get some respect? I'm not sure what you're asking. Like, I don't think the Falcons are getting any respect this week. Michael Penix will. People are going to be talking about Michael Penix. Like, people love talking about quarterbacks. So Penix will keep the Falcons, like, interesting. So at least we have that. Like, just like we had in the years where the team, like, no matter what, when the Falcons had Matt Ryan, they at least had interest. Like, when they had Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and those guys. So they'll be interesting. I feel very good about Michael Penix. Have I said that yet? I want to make sure we reiterate that. We got Jason Gaines with the $2 saying, Kevin, the Falcons should use ZipRecruiter to find their new opening job at kicker.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason, for calling back to the ad read. I'm sure the advertiser appreciates that. He says, I would go get Eddie Pinheiro or Matthew Wright to replace Koo. This is now the third game in the last 2 years that Koo has cost Atlanta. Koo is I won't say it, but Koo is the negative person number 1 of this week.
Eddie Pinheiro's on a team, right? Is he on the Panthers?
Is he?
Yeah,
I honestly don't know. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's still on the
very
Panthers.
possible.
You can't just get a kicker. You know what's unfortunate? Who was available? I didn't realize the Bills just picked him up. Matt Prater. Matt Prater would have actually been a good pickup.
But I feel like there's always more good there's more kickers than there are teams. Like, it's sort of the opposite of a quarterback or a tackle. Like, I haven't scoured through the available free agents. I'm pretty sure I will in the next few days. But there's always options. There's always, like, decent free agent kickers who can hit, like, 80% of their kicks out there.
Yeah, there are options, I'm sure. I can't say that they're horribly compelling, but I mean,
And listeners, do not suggest Justin Tucker, please. This organization does not need that.
There's no matter
Tucker
what.
Like Justin Tucker, even if you go past the allegations, which that's its own story, but he was terrible last year.
He was a liability.
He was not good on top of everything else, which even if Justin Tucker was elite, the Falcons still would not sign him. You guys know that, right? Like, that they would not do it. That's a point of emphasis for them. Whether you agree with it or not, it's a point of emphasis.
Maybe Evan can get Matt Bryan on the phone and see what he's up to these days.
Evan, work those connections, buddy. Yeah. We need you now more than ever. Yeah.
He's earned at least a tryout.
I think so. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked. I would make that signing. Kickers are timeless, as we've seen. So, I mean, we were talking about Matt Prater, right? So, another timeless kicker.
Morton Anderson was kicking until he was damn near 50 back in the day.
Yeah.
He was on the Petrino team.
Yeah, that's that's a blast from the past. Yeah.
Do you think? I think we should dive more into Zach Robinson. I think he's the second biggest name that's going to be discussed. I guess just a wide open discussion. What are your guys' biggest issues with Zach Robinson right now?
I've been talking a lot, so I'll open the floor. Yeah.
I was going to say, it feels like he got way too cute out there. Like, I completely lost my mind on that 1st and goal after – it was the play right after Penix got the diving first down. And he goes out there in a full house formation, pony personnel, and he gives Bijan Robinson like a counter play to the complete left. And it was sort of like, it's like on the weak side where the Falcons don't even have that many blockers. And it's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? It's 1st and goal. Run it up the middle. Like, I know that you have Elijah Wilkinson and, maybe you don't trust him, but you don't have to go Elijah Wilkinson's way. Like, you don't have to run right into Vita Vea either. Like, you have.
I think Vita Vea scared them because remember that fourth down conversion.
Yeah, but and that's the other play. Even that fourth down conversion on 3rd and 1, why are you like? I don't.
It's the play action shot.
I don't like taking a shot on 3rd and short. I get it. You're gonna go for it on 4th down, but if you're that scared of Vita Vea and if he's that much of a difference maker, which I'm not saying he's not, Vita Vea is arguably, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. It's like, I don't like not giving yourself 2 chances, like at a run play on that play.
Yeah.
And it's just like sort of small things like that where it feels like he's in his own head. It's that offensive coordinator, like sickness. Like sickness is such a like negative term. It's such a dramatic term. But it's like something with these OCs and these, head coaches who are offensive play callers where they just think they're the smartest person in the room, no matter what. Like they can't keep stuff simple. Like just, keep it simple. It's like, well, you don't have to prove that you're this like masterclass, new Andy Reid type like person, especially with the quarterback who's playing his 4th game. And I mean, also he didn't really dial up much deep stuff for Michael Penix throughout the game either.
No, it's very cowardly. Yeah.
I'll give him a pass just because they didn't have Mooney. Let's see if this offense with Mooney, but
and London for a lot there at the end.
Right.
Yeah, at the end for sure. It's like, it's just like they kept running the same run play. Like I remember this run play from last season. Like when they ran it last season, we were like, oh, this is really creative. Like I like this where they have this little like Charlie Warner will sort of come in motion and then he'll sort of jack himself like into the line of scrimmage to try to open up a hole. And it worked really well for them. They ran it a few times. It worked well. The Falcons, like that was their staple run play. And it's like, it just like, if you just run that every time, it just gives away where the running back is going every single play. Like,
and he was bad today. He missed a lot of assignments, Charlie Warner. He's a cool asset, but today was not his game.
Yeah. It's just like, you can't just like go crazy with that. Like, yes, like that's a good play. It's good if they don't know it's coming, but as soon, like all they had to do was watch Charlie Warner and they knew exactly where the run was going. Like, and it was like over and over and over again, multiple short yardage calls, the same play. They flipped sides, they flipped running backs. It's the same play. Like, yes, I want you to run more inside, but like don't sell yourself to like one play. Like how many different run plays are there? Like hundreds. Like you don't have to use the same exact one. Like run to the weak side for once. Like I mean, what the hell are you doing? Like the run game was a liability. Like it was awful. It was downright awful. And the fact that you have an awful run game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, that is embarrassing. You should be embarrassed to have that on your resume.
Credit to Tampa, they have one of the better run Ds, but
they do.
Considering the standards the Falcons have set for themselves, even without Caleb McGarry, they shouldn't become totally one-dimensional, which they did become. And I don't know, do you think they're running too many plays out of the pistol? Because you saw the failed 4th down conversion. It came through the pistol. Yeah, where literally Kyle Pitts was blocking a Son Wreck, and he just gets bulldozed.
He got crushed. Like Kyle Pitts ended up watching Bijan or was it Tyler? Yeah, Tyler Algier, like getting stuffed from like right behind him where like Michael Penix was. And it's like, dude, come on. Like if you take away Michael Penix's rushes, which were like straight scrambles, you only had Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier running. They had 22 carries for a combined 48 yards. Like that's horrible. That's horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, Penix led the Falcons in yards per carry with 3.5, which is terrible.
For a while, he wasn't running at all.
No.
They were actually making comments on the announcers were saying how like he will refuse to leave the pocket. And to his credit, he had a clean pocket for most of the game, and I think that's one positive to take away from it is like for the way Penix plays, he doesn't leave unless he literally has to. And there's been quarterbacks where we've had that situation, and it's been terrible because the pocket collapses instantly. But I thought it did pretty well, especially considering Elijah Wilkinson had me staying up at night because I was actually scared about that more than anything going into this game. And he did a good job, I think.
Yeah, as a pass protector, he was fine. Like it wasn't anything amazing. He had some penalties that he's got to clean up, but it certainly didn't destroyed their ability to throw. So that's about, I think, what we were hoping for. The run game is a different story, but hey, how much can you expect from literally like a guy you just converted to tackle? I mean, like he needs time if we're going to be able to evaluate.
But to your credit, how they seemed like they were coming up the middle at Vita Vea like every play, and I can't remember if it was you or maybe it was Adnan. Somebody said on Twitter about how it's like they think Vita Vea was out for the game or something. Like that would have been the game plan if he was out. And then just how odd it is, going back to Zach Robinson, to then the moment you decide, you know what, I'm not going to run it Vita Vea anymore, is that goal line where they had pretty much a sweep with Bijan. It just, I don't know that it's one of the, I know week one's weird with a lot of play calling and you're trying to figure stuff out, but it was just like really weird how like plays like that. It's like you at least week one, you usually have like a script or something because you've had all off season to kind of program for this. It's not week 7 or 8 where you're, trying to figure some other stuff out based on how, you have footage on other teams at that point and stuff like that. But I just don't understand what the, like, at the goal line, you're randomly running Bijan. Like at that point, that's when I go straight ahead and just have your line, trying to outmuscle them. I don't understand it doing the whole game and then deciding at the goal line, okay, now we're going to go sideways. I don't really understand that, but
yeah,
I hate going sideways at the goal line. It's so dumb. Like it just feels like you're just trying to outsmart the defense. And it's just like, at that point, I would rather you just line up with 4 or 5 wide receivers all spread out. And it's like, take defenders out of the box. Like if you're going to do nothing else, that I feel like that's become something popularized by like Sean McVay and like his tree of like coordinators turned coaches, like / play callers, where it's like, you have to account for like the receivers as the defense, no matter what, even if it's going to be a run play, just spread everything out, spread it all out and pound it up the middle, excuse my like my language on that one. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I know that it's that like old school mentality of like, oh, we're going to line up 9 players on the offensive line and we're going to have the I formation, the fullback and the running back. That's dumb. That's dumb and inefficient. Like, I know it's like real football, but it's like, if you have those 4 or 5 defenders that are out of the box completely, you don't even have to worry about blocking them. You don't even have to worry about getting a body on them. And instead we went in a full house formation. I don't even know if we had a single wide receiver like lined up out wide on that play.
Yeah. I mean, what have we learned? What have we learned from college football? Spread is just as effective as like 13, 22 personnel heavy looks, because if you spread out all the players and you run, they don't have the personnel. Like they just don't. Now, like, and if they decide to keep their heavy personnel on the field for that, then you just audible to a pass play and throw a pass to your receiver lined up against a linebacker. There are ways to exploit how teams want to do that, but it was the lack of creativity more than anything. Like, I think we were all worried like that the run blocking would struggle, especially like early until Storm Norton comes back at the very least. Like, you can't lose the number 1 run blocking center in the NFL and like one of the best run blocking tackles in the NFL and expect that you're going to have an elite run blocking offensive line. It's just not going to happen. What I didn't expect is that the left side of the offensive line sucked. Like, they didn't get any push either. And obviously the guys that were replaced also sucked. Like, I mean, it's like so the run blocking was a disaster altogether. Let
me ask you guys something.
Yeah.
So when you, like, I know the game just happened, so it's kind of like semi-fresh in our mind, but when you look back at the play calling on offense, was there anything where you were like, oh, that was a good play call? Or was it the positive plays more of, oh, Michael Penix did that like on his own, or Bijan did that on his own? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, was there any moments where you're like, oh, good play call. That was a good play call. Or was it more of like the athlete took over?
Yeah. No, I mean, like the Bijan like screen pass, like it wasn't really a screen. It was sort of like a wheel out of the backfield. Like that was a great play call. It was executed super well. They just hit him on the wheel after they saw the blitz coming, and then 2 key blocks, and boom, 50-yard touchdown. But like, Like, I like that play call, but again, it's like, it's rare that play call turns into a 50-yard touchdown, right? I mean, like that's like usually like a nice little chunk play, and they never really went back to that play either. I mean, like I get it, maybe that's a once a game type of thing, but
I think they did on that fourth down in the
oh no,
end
you're
zone
right.
where it drew the PI because it seemed like Bielitschon was wheeling out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it was just so close to the end zone. I didn't see the blocking downfield, but you're right. That's probably more or less the same call.
Because those Bucs linebackers, I mean, Deion Jones was getting snaps, so
yeah, that's a problem for them. There's no doubt about that. I was like, man, Servicia Dennis, I don't know if I would trust him. And it's like,
What a missed opportunity, man. Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Tristan Wirfs didn't even play, and you got one sack?
No Chris Godwin, no Jalen McMillan.
All those guys are going to be back next game, potentially.
Yeah. No, absolutely. They're going to be back by October, November. So
yeah, I mean, like if they, we don't know what the injury situation is going to be by then or anything but it's like you can't use. I don't want to hear anything about we didn't have Mooney. Storm Norton was out. The Bucs were way more injured than the Falcons were in this game.
Chris Worth's the best left tackle in the league, and we know how dangerous Godwin is. And McMillan's a playmaker. It's no.
And that's what's so discouraging. They are missing. Tristan Wirfs is their best player. Like, I know Baker is he's legit. I know Mike Evans, is Mike Evans, and he's
Antoine Winfield Jr. Man, that play at the end.
Antoine Winfield is very good. I honestly think it was better that I think it was Washington that he didn't catch it, because I think he would have been knocked out of bounds or in bounds, and the clock would have run out because there was 11 seconds left right there.
Good point. Yeah.
But I think Wirfs is no disrespect to these other guys, Wirfs might be the best tackle in the NFL, period, right now. And for you to not be able to really pressure Baker Mayfield much at all, I mean, it sort of shows you that this pass rush, they're not really going to be that great this year, I don't think. And this is the point I was making in the lead up, in the last two shows on Wednesday leading up to this show. For the Falcons to have that defense that's ranked 19th, 20th in like all the major categories, not just in yardage. Yardage can be deceiving in of itself. But I mean, I'm talking about third down stops, scoring, and everything in between. It's like, I feel like you're relying way too much on way too many young players hitting their ceiling all at the same time. And I mean, we saw it. Kevin, you mentioned it. Jalen Walker was a non-factor today. James Pierce had that nice pressure after Caden Ellis got shook off against Baker Mayfield. But outside of that, I didn't really see him at all. Bowman had the sack. Xavier Watts, looked good. Xavier Watts, I think, looked better than anyone else among the rookies. Rook Orororo was not good today. And it's like you're relying way too much on way too many players, and it's just very rare. It's a statistical anomaly for that many players to hit their ceiling. And I think at the end of the day, like, this Falcons defense, whether we like it or not, is going to, I think, firmly be in the bottom 10 once again.
You're going to have patience. I think that's what's ultimately going to be the case with these young edge rushers.
And I said it last show. I think this draft class and this defense is going to be very good for 2026. Like, 2026 is like next year. I feel like the defense has a real chance, not to be top 10 or anything, but to actually make a couple of strides. This year, I don't know about this year. And that's where it's so dangerous to make that sort of gamble that you made with trading up and trading away your first rounder. And I mean, I get why Terry Fontenot made that gamble, because he's on the hot seat. And if this defense and if this team doesn't make the playoffs, he should be out of here. But it's like that's where the Falcons are in a really, really bad situation right now.
Yeah, and that's not like these rookies were not for week one, right? They're for down the stretch when we need to be hitting our stride. They should be ready to go. And like, again, I mean, this goes back to your deeper point, Adnan, about like just this defense. Like, props to this defense. They played 0 preseason snaps together. They came out looking pretty sharp. Like, I mean, especially early. But like, these rookies like didn't get to work with the starters. They didn't really get to build off of anything. Like, it's going to take a minute for these guys. And the hope is obviously that they hit sooner rather than later, but until they do, it's like, you have two sort of like solid presences in Leonard Floyd and Arnold Ebiketie, but that's kind of it. And like, Braylon Trice, who the hell knows if we'll see him again. So it's really like we need James Pierce and Jalen Walker to come prepared. But that was part of the reason I didn't like Jalen Walker as a prospect. Is like, yeah, guys, like he's a great talent. I like the athleticism, but like he's a weird build, and like I don't really know what his role is. Like right now, he's a special teams player. Like, I mean, it's like that's not good for your 15th overall pick. So. It's a little concerning.
You want to put him at linebacker, but like you saw Divine Diablo come in those 8 gaps.
Divine Diablo, awesome.
He was storming through it. It was just like, oh wow, okay, he is a real asset here. So I'm not even sure how to utilize Jalen Walker as like a linebacker, because also we know how dynamic K&L is as a pass rusher. But now you got Divine Diablo coming through the A gap, and he can get a sack, but he was definitely blowing some players up, and he covers a lot of ground. So yeah, I really don't know what Jalen Walker's role is going to be if Divine Diablo keeps playing like this. And then you also have K&L, so he better develop as an edge rusher, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's always going to be a guy that's going to play some edge and some linebacker, but yeah, right now it's like there's not really a role for him.
Yeah, Diablo was like the best defensive player on the field.
Yeah, Diablo was great. Love it.
Yeah, like I don't know how you could take him off at this point, and I do think we should give more credit to Xavier Watts. There's one play, a third down. To me, the Bucs have been one of the best screen teams in the league for the past couple of years, maybe the Chiefs as well. And they Rashad White at least 3-4 times a year goes for like a huge touchdown. And they set up right that angle screen. And Xavier Watts just followed step by step, tracked them down, evades the offensive lineman, and makes like a shoestring tackle on third down. And that's what leads to Chase McLaughlin's missed kick. If he doesn't make that tackle, I think it goes for at least 50, or it could even go for a touchdown.
That's a touch. Like he had a convoy. He had a convoy. He had open space, and it was. Like that's a score. Like that's a 7-point swing right there.
Right. And so he did that. He had like a nice pass break on Emeka Egbuka where he landed really strong. Hey, he just has this intensity to him, and you see the ferocity. And I think it's just huge for him to come in, because we've seen over the last 2 seasons with Jesse Bates, we had Richie Grant, who was consistently out of position, didn't make plays open field when needed to, and then an aging Justin Simmons. If Xavier Watts really develops into being a ball hawk, game-changing talent, Falcons got something to work with there, and we want to see the secondary emerge, and they really might have something here. I thought Billy Bowman played fine. He got beat maybe once or twice, but he was okay. And I'm not going to be too critical of Mike Hughes. I think that was just more of a great throw and catch, him getting beat like that. So Mike Hughes can be steady.
Hughes got in a good position. He put his hand right there. It was sort of a better offense versus good defense.
Exactly.
Pass.
Yeah.
And
Falcons secondary might be their biggest strength.
They look great overall. Again, this is like Baker Mayfield just deals, and they just need to get their hands on one of those interceptions, and this is a different game. But they didn't, and maybe that's something that comes along too. These rookies like Watts was a fingertip from preventing that play, So it is what it is.
Clean pocket, he's going to make you pay, and that was, I think, that's what cost the Falcons on a 5 drive. Is just they couldn't get the pressure without being schemed up.
Yeah,
and when they got the pressure, they didn't finish K&L's, or they made a mindless play like Rucaro. So I don't know. Vikings offensive line is really good. They invested heavily. They basically took the Colts interior line. So I don't know what the defense line is going to be like, but I do trust right now the linebackers and safeties. I think the whole secondary, I should say. I think there's a lot to be encouraged here. And look, they got to be on their game next week. In general, just because they'll throw out Justin Jefferson. But I do think they're going to be relieved that Jordan Addison's suspended, because we know last game, Jordan Addison did a number on that secondary.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, next year is gettable. Like JJ McCarthy, we haven't seen him yet. They don't play until tomorrow night, but it'll be JJ McCarthy's second game ever. Yeah, I'm on record saying that I think JJ McCarthy is going to be a fraud, just like Bryce Young. But basically, this isn't. I don't think he's going to give them. I definitely don't think he's going to give them what Sam Darnold gave them last year. Sam Darnold was a Pro Bowler. I think that's going to be a big step back at the quarterback position. Their defense is very stout. We know that Brian Flores is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. But yeah, Jordan Addison is out. We don't know the status of Justin Jefferson. That feels very eerie right now with that hamstring. He's probably going to play tomorrow, but there's no way he's anywhere near 100% given the way that they're talking about him right now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that could be a big boon for you and for your secondary where, Jefferson isn't, 100%. Addison's out. What is Adam Thielen, like Jalen Naylor? Like those guys aren't really striking fear like in my heart right now, especially with, JJ McCarthy throwing him the ball. So next week is gettable, but if you lose next week, then it's like, okay, it can start it's time to start sweating a little bit because at that point you're 0-3. All the pressure in the world is on you for that Panthers game. Like
Yeah.
you cannot afford to go 0-3 with the hardest part of your schedule coming up right after that. Like this season can be derailed by October at that point, which is why this game is so big to get. If you get this one, then it's like you have some room to like misstep a little bit, but it kind of feels like you don't really have much of that. But also, in my other point, maybe they should play the starters in the preseason a little bit.
I was surprised we hadn't heard this yet, honestly. Yeah.
Do you think we just let this go at this point, just because we know the coaching staff's not going to until there's a new coaching staff, if it may be? Like, I don't feel like there's a reason to bring this up because this is how they operate.
No, look, I actually think the opposite. Just because Raheem Morris is so rigid, I don't want to sort of like let him get away like completely unaccountable for it. Like I feel like it really hurt you last year. I feel like it really. I mean, it may have hurt you this game too. Like the offense looked super disjointed for the first 3 quarters. And I mean, like Kevin said, the defense, like it would have been nice to have the rookies playing with the starters a little bit, before just to sort of get that rhythm, get that feel. But I think it was more so the offense. And it's sort of like one of those things where, own it. I feel like it's a mistake to not do again this year. And, I think the coaches need to be held accountable for it because you can't just sort of get away with it and be like, oh, well, that's just the way we operate. That's that dinosaur mindset of I'm never going to adapt. And I mean, if you don't adapt in this league, then you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
You're spot on with that. I think I've just come to terms of Raheem Morris's stubbornness on that aspect, but you are absolutely spot on when it comes to that should be addressed and he should be held accountable. I'm just happy. I was fully expecting D. Alford and Jordan Fuller to be starters, so I'm happy at least they trust the rookies in that aspect.
Yeah, and the rookies look good. They look good.
Yeah.
They you mentioned Watts. Bowman had that. We didn't really hear Bowman's name outside of that, which isn't the worst thing with the nickel cornerback.
Yeah, he wasn't really active. I mean, we got to see all 22, but I think maybe he allowed 2 catches. Besides that, I mean, we saw a lot of the nickel corner last year for mostly wrong reasons. So
yeah,
the camera wasn't on him I would like to think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, D. Alford's never coming on the show, given some of our comments about him over the past like few weeks and season. So I think that's sort of guaranteed at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this was, we'll end it with this one before I get to you guys' comments. NFL teams over the last 5 seasons that have the ball less than 25 minutes, which the Falcons defense held the Bucs to less than 25 minutes of time of possession. 11 and 158. So that's 6.5% of the time they win. Bucs win the game. So that's now 12 and 158, guys. So shout out to the Falcons for making the impossible possible every time.
That's a very Falcon stat right there.
Yep, that is a classic Falcons stat. I love that one. But yeah, guys, let me get to these questions. Thank you guys so much. We got Ian McCluskey with the $5 says, last time we lost to the Bucs at home in week 1, we ended up going on to the Super Bowl. So maybe it's okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with that, Ian. We're going to go with that. Yeah, that should help. Yeah.
That was an ugly loss, too.
Yeah, that one was ugly. That was far uglier than this one, I think. So
that was not the same Falcons team. More importantly, that was not the same Bucs team as it was. But I do remember it was panic. Like,
yeah,
panic set in because we had just come off that collapse in 2015. And then, the team looked really bad. The offense looked really bad. Week 1, how dare you lose to one of the worst teams in the league, which is what the Bucs were. But people wanted Kyle Shanahan's head on a spike after that game.
Yeah.
I just remember the defense doing absolutely nothing. Like poor Sean Weatherspoon was on his last legs playing like 30 snaps. I was like, oh, man. I want to believe, but I feel like Sean Weatherspoon's done.
Yes, it's pretty tough. We got Eric Stur with the $2 says 2 words, Rodrigo Blankenship. Well, they may have to go down that road at some point. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Forgot about him.
I forgot about him
too. You
too.
can bring all these guys in and just
why not?
Pick.
Why not? We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah,
got Matt.
Who was forgetting Patterson. Just
Riley
the-
Patterson. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
let's
on a
not
roster.
forget-
He's on a roster, so you don't have to worry. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we got $5. Bad Tom K says, "Hear me out. Let's get Pat McAfee to host a Be the New Falcons kicker competition." Well, I mean, maybe it can't turn out any worse than what they've been doing so far. I don't know, but we got George Costanza with the 2 who says, "Remember the halcyon days of me making the joke that Arthur Smith was just Dirk Cutter in a mustache disguise? Are we sure that Zach Robinson isn't Dirk Cutter wearing a face prosthesis?" And since it's been a while, F Bobby Petrino. Yeah, I always got time to throw that one in. But yeah, this was a very Dirk Cutter-esque run game performance, that's for sure.
he was also calling that, he called that screen on like 3rd and 6 from like the 41, which like went for negative yards. And it's like, dude, what the hell are we doing? Why are we calling a screen pass right here?
I think
Well,
he
it's
gave too much respect to Todd Bowles. I think he was like paranoid about the blitzes and paranoid about Elijah Wilkinson. That'd be my reasoning for it. But
I mean, it's like, I think what Penix showed beyond any doubt is like, he's lethal against the blitz. Just like call a play with give him a hot read and he'll find it. Like he can handle the blitz. Like he is not at all phased. This isn't Kirk Cousins where like if he doesn't have a clear like outlet immediately, he's getting sacked. Like no, Penix is fine. Just trust him to navigate it. Call your plays because they're gonna have to do the same thing against the Vikings. The Vikings are gonna blitz relentlessly. That's what they're known for. Just give him a hot read every play and let him work. Just let him work. So
find Bijan.
Yeah, find Bijan. Yeah, we got Banana Bandit. Nice. With the $5 sake. That emotional bank account Raheem Morris has with Koo is long overdrawn. Yeah, I think so. I think they're not going to cut Koo after this week. But it's coming soon, guys. I think Koo is absolutely cooked. So I think his days are numbered as an NFL starting kicker. We'll see if he can ever get back. We got Corey with the $2 saying the pocket presence from Penix was extremely good to see. So many good decisions today. Agreed. I thought he handled the pressure really well. He stood in there. I mean, like the fact that he stood in there so tall, like contributed to some of those roughing calls. Like, because if he didn't stand in there and make that throw, like, they don't get that call. So, I mean, ice in his veins.
A couple plays where he like had a full fire pump fake, where he like went like the entire motion with his like arm on the pump fake, and he just kept his eye downfield and like went the other way. I think he hit Casey Washington for a big 3rd down.
That was the one.
After doing it with the pressure like right in his face, and I mean, that was very like his pocket presence at such a young age is really impressive. Like it kind of feels like he didn't let the defense speed him up. And whenever he did get outside of the pocket and try to run, it was always on plays that made sense for him to get out and try to run. And I mean, also it sort of helps that he has that ability because Kirk Cousins wasn't really doing that last year.
Yeah, for sure. We got Virgo Life with the $5. How would you rate how they use Kyle Pitts? I guess I'd give it like a B-. I mean, I think they need to get him more involved deep, but at least they came to their senses at the end of the game, and I think that was mostly just Penix being like, I got to go to my good players here. There's too many injuries. I'd say like a B-. I mean, I think they need to get him involved more as like a primary part of the offense, especially if any of these guys that are out are going to miss more time. But it ended up being okay by the end. Let's see. We got Raymond with the $2. If the defense is bottom 5 in sacks again, fire Raheem Morris. Well, if they're bottom 5 in sacks again, probably going to be firing everyone, to be honest. We got Gary Stafford with the $10. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you. Says, our play calling was very disappointing. It was like watching a preseason game. I agree. Felt just like last year. Totally disjointed, super predictable, very vanilla looking outside of a couple of plays. Zach Robinson failed this team today. There's no doubt about it. You have to be better. You have to call a more diversified run game. They did run inside more, but they were running directly at Vita Vea. So it's like, yes, I said run inside, but like that was like, did you guys watch my game preview? I was like, yeah, Vita Vea's out. We should pound the ball inside. If he's not out, we're probably gonna have to mix it up a little bit. And it was like they just forgot to change the game plan after Vita Vea played. They're like, well, we'll just run it inside. That's fine. You can't run at Vita Vea
so much. Like,
it's weird.
I understand using pistol. It's a good formation, but I just feel like it got so repetitive.
Like, where's the under center? Like, I get that Penix didn't run it a lot in college. We had all offseason to install under center plays. There's a reason under center is like typically the most effective rushing formation. Like, get under center in here. What are we doing? Like, there's no reason that shouldn't be a staple of your offense, given how much talent you have out there. It's just ridiculous. Like Penix can learn to play under center. I have no doubt about that. This isn't a Kirk Cousins situation. We got the last one, Bailey Mulligan with $2. Any update on the London injury? Still no update, guys. Sorry about that. My guess is he's sore, and hopefully that'll be all it is, and he'll be okay. But yeah, we'll have to see what the update is. We probably won't hear anything until Wednesday because that's how Raheem Morris is about this stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, any final takes from anybody here before we sign off? Thanks so much, guys. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff as well. But yeah, Alan, I'll go to you first. Anything else you want to sign off with tonight?
I still think we should be somewhat optimistic, but obviously there are large concerns. But I think just based on the defense's performance, particularly with the linebackers and the secondary, I think this could be something to build on. And as for the offense, Michael Penix has shown that if he's got to go into hero mode, he's capable of doing it. Now, that is not sustainable. They got to run the ball much better, but Michael Penix, that fortitude, he's got it. And it sounds cliche, but he just knows how to make winning plays. And the way he scored that touchdown, planting his right hand to maintain his balance, that's just a special play right there. So we got a quarterback that may have everything to help carry an offense. You just don't want him to do it every week because that's not going to lead to a winning season. So, and then I really think if Darnell Mooney comes back next week, things would change because they clearly miss his vertical stretching ability.
Yeah, I agree. I think the wide receiver core is definitely something to watch because it's like Penix can't do it all. Like, we actually have a quarterback who can elevate now, but like he still can't do it all. Like, we're not, at that level. So, need to see it. But yeah, Adnan, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, no, I'm not. It's not time to panic. Like it's still. This was a big game. This was like you're facing the Bucs, the division rival. Probably going to be your biggest in a vacuum. It's one of your two biggest games of the season, but that's in a vacuum. It's still only week 1 out of 17. I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet. But if you lose a couple more here, like very quickly in succession, that could change. But right now, the most important thing is, try to bounce back, try to get one back in Minnesota. And if we're sitting here after next week at 1-1, it'll be sort of like last season in a way where, you lose the first game in disappointing fashion. You win week 2 in prime time, which, they will be in prime time next week as well. And then, all of a sudden you're staring, the Carolina Panthers in the face, possibly, with the possibility of going 2-1. And if we're sitting here at 2-1, it'll be a lot more jolly, a lot more optimistic, going into that very difficult stretch. But you've got to kind of feels like it's very important to sort of win these next 2 games, just given the fact that the Commanders, Bills, and 49ers are all coming right after that.
Yeah. It's critical. Falcons have to find some wins in here. No doubt about it. Somehow, some way, got to do it. Evan, anything else from you?
Not much more to add. Just to piggyback off what Alan was saying, it's good to see that we have a quarterback that we can, I feel like, go comfortably into the future with. They had a stat during the game about how this, Matt Ryan was our 2021 opening day quarterback, and then we've had a new one each year. And we don't want to become the Browns or one of those kind of teams. So, I feel like right now Penix should be the starter next year, week 1. So that would be great to break that little streak there. And just trying to stay positive. We talked about with the defense. Hopefully they improve, but I mean, I can't really get too mad at them for today. And week 1's always weird. There's a lot of teams around the league who are saying the same thing we are and trying not to panic and stuff like that. But for me, the biggest thing is seeing what they do about this kicking situation. Because if they don't bring in anybody this week, to me, it's scary because it almost shows that the coaching staff, you want them to be like player friendly, but you don't want them to be to where something's obvious. Like, you want them to have their players' backs and stuff like that. This isn't new with Koo. He struggled and cost us games before. So if they're not even willing to be serious about this issue and bring in somebody to actually compete, then I don't know what to tell you. It's not a good look, because I mean, it cost us the game at the end. Like, we could have went into overtime and not won, but like, that's his number one job, is to make those kind of kicks. And if it was like 54 plus or something like that, okay, but it was what, 44 plus. I mean, probably 8 to 9 out of 10 times a kicker makes that. At least 8 out of 10. So I mean, you should feel good about those kind of kicks, but we're in a different world now. We no longer have the safety of like Matt Ryan at quarterback, but it feels better with Penix, in the same way that we don't have that safety with Matt Bryan at kicker, where we're kind of in a wait and see what happens mode. I do feel better about the Penix situation. So that's something. But I was thinking, man, could you imagine how much worse this game would have been if Cousins was our quarterback? And I'll take that. Like, I did not love the Penix pick, when we drafted him, and it was mainly because I know how much money we just spent on a quarterback, so it didn't make any sense. But thank God we did, because this game would have been so much worse if we had Cousins back there. So I'm choosing to be positive about Penix and a couple of the defensive players we mentioned. But it's week 1. I'm not going to panic.
Yeah. I mean, it's too early to panic, but we've seen some concerning things for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel that should be the title of this show. We're not going to panic.
Yeah, not yet. Hold your panic.
Yet, yeah.
Hold your panic until they lose to the Panthers in week 3. Then we can light the fires of.
At that
yeah.
point, this team is 0-3. At that point, I'm calling for firing.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen. I refuse to believe that's going to happen. So, but guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a busy week 1, a disappointing week 1. Love the fight from Michael Penix. Love the fight from the defense. Couple critical mistakes. Younghoe Koo, his days are numbered, unfortunately. I don't think he's making it much longer here in Atlanta, which is sad. But I think the defense was better than expected. We need Zach Robinson to be better. Got to turn around and get this ship righted for a critical week 2 game against the Vikings that now you kind of have to win. Sorry to say. You probably need to win that game now. So, hate having to play that team, the team that beat the crap out of the Falcons last year, by the way. Not the same team. Falcons aren't the same team either. So I hope they can get it together. Hopefully it'll be similar to last year, where the offense between weeks 1 and weeks 2 looks pretty different. So I'm hoping that will be the case. But we'll all have to wait and see how that goes. But thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Falcoholic Live. Thanks again to FanDuel for presenting today's show. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us that 5-star review in your podcast platform of choice. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're at like 8,700-ish, so anyone that can help out with that goal. Really appreciate you guys. We'll be back with a Tuesday Takes with Trayshawn coming to you on Tuesday. Breaking down this game in a little bit more detail. We'll be back on Wednesday Night Live with Adnan, and then I have a game preview for you with Thor Nystrom for the Vikings game later this week. And then, of course, more post-game coverage after the Vikings game, where hopefully we can put this loss behind us with a big upset win in week 2, because we know the Falcons aren't favored in that game, let's be honest. Real quick, couple last-minute questions that came in. We got Furball with the $5 saying, Koo has to go. Why is everyone making excuses for him? I don't think anyone's making excuses at this point, Furball. I think we all think Koo kind of has to go. We got George Costanza with the final $2. Thank you, George, saying, if I'm going to be honest, if we just put Pitts at wide receiver, this team could actually run the run and shoot with Penix. Bijan may be the ultimate run and shoot running back. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be fun. I certainly prefer it to whatever we saw from the rushing attack today. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you guys so much for joining us here on our Week 1 postgame show. We'll be back. Lots more Falcons football. Lots to go. Hopefully good going forward. Maybe we can put this unfortunate loss behind us. That's what we're going to lean on for at least one more week until we delve into depression. So thanks for having us, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everyone who donated. We appreciate you. Thanks to everyone who liked and subscribed. We will see you next week on the Falcoholic Live and Dirty Birds and Brews podcast. Have a great day, folks.